Okay, boxing fans, we have the most anticipated fight of the night for you now. Adrien Broner versus Emmanuel Taylor. Adrien Broner is coming off his absolutely brilliant win over Carlos Molina, not the paedophile. And Emmanuel Taylor's coming over a hot win over Kareem Mayfield. And that's why they've been placed together. Really, this is a shit fight, innit? I can't really give it a build up. It's how AB, absolute bullshit. Anyway, we'll move on. Kareem Mayfield lost to Emmanuel Taylor. That's probably the best fight of Emmanuel Taylor's career up to now. Emmanuel Taylor had a hot amateur career. I'm not going to run through it because Rory's annoyed that I've run through it about 4 times already. But put it like this, it's good. He's got a lot of wins, not many losses, but he's not really turned it around into his pro career really. But we'll start with Rory. Rory, is Adrien Broner a relevant fighter right now?
No. Well, no, let me elaborate. He is relevant in the sense that he's a well-known fighter in terms of he makes headlines, he, causes a bit of controversy. He's in the general boxing, mindset, and, he's out there as a fighter that's well known. In terms of how he's been fighting and the performances he's been putting in recently, no, not at all. His last fight was very, it wasn't as smooth as everyone expected. He obviously lost against Maidana. So in terms of just fighting ability, I don't think he's that relevant at the minute. There's bigger, better fighters out there. There's bigger, better fights to be made that don't include him. But in terms of the personality although, many people don't particularly like him, I'm one of those people. He's still relevant in the sense that he causes a bit of controversy. Even if people don't like him, they still want to see him lose. So, to an extent, yes, but I wish he wasn't relevant.
Okay, well, I suppose that's right. Paul, what do you reckon? Is Adrien Broner still a relevant fighter?
Not for me, he isn't. To be perfectly honest, because everyone wanted to see him lose, and he did lose to Marcos Maidana. He not only lost, he got an absolute arse whooping. Got his arse handed to him with a knife and fork and forced to eat it. He got absolutely humiliated. And what's he done since he came back? He fought a guy who was tailor-made for him and looked absolutely rubbish. Because even though he beat Carlos Molina, he didn't look impressive at all. It was just a really, really disappointing show from Adrien Broner. And this is what this guy is as well, Emmanuel Taylor. He's basically another fighter who's been wheeled in for Adrien Broner to smash up and look the dog's bollocks again and get people thinking he's something great. And he didn't look that impressive last time. And if he doesn't look impressive this time either, then he just becomes even less irrelevant. Because for me, he's not a fighter I think of when I think of potential world title fights that I want to see in the division. I want to see Danny Garcia versus Matisse, the rematch. I would like to see Matisse versus Provodnikov. I'd like to see, it would never happen, all of these fights would never happen, but I'd like to see Danny Garcia fight Provodnikov. I'm not interested in seeing Adrien Broner fight any of those guys, because I just don't think, A, he doesn't deserve it, and B, I just don't think the fights will be competitive. So, in that sense, no, I don't think he is relevant, and he won't be relevant again until he puts in a really impressive input. He puts in an impressive performance against an opponent of note.
Yeah, I suppose that's, fair. Conman, do you want to weigh in? Is Adrien Broner relevant?
In a boxing sense, in terms of fighting, you have to look at his rankings and his top 5 is WBC and the WBA somehow at light welterweight. So that's on the back of one fight where he was supposed to look the dog's bollocks. So he is relevant to a degree. He's relevant in that his ranking makes him relevant. But on the back of his last fight, I mean, absolutely atrocious against Molina. He was exposed against Maidana. So he's relevant in that sense. He's highly regarded, but he's got a lot to do. And this is not the kind of fight that a guy with his ranking, the kind of buzz that were around, around the fella. You know, he should be fighting much better. So he's probably going to win this fight, and by the looks of it, he's going to be in a world title fight before long. So he's relevant, but he's irrelevant to most boxing fans in that we all wanted him to get beat, and he got whooped. And you know, it's just lucky that really he's got a high ranking. To me, he's irrelevant, but you can't say that.
Yeah, I suppose. Is Ryan back with us yet?
Yeah.
Good man. Ryan, do you think Adrien Broner is relevant or irrelevant?
I think he's relevant because of his name and all that, like the other guys have said. So, you know, he sells tickets, everyone's heard of him, he's been promoted well, you know, he's been given those 3 titles almost, you know, at will. But he's just not very good, and he's not going to go very far, and I'd be surprised if he won a genuine world title. I mean, like another genuine world title. And out of the world titles he's won, he's only won one genuine one. I think the one he held at lightweight, which he won against Antonio DeMarco, is the only relevant one. The other 2 are both, you know, disputed, you know, trinkets. They weren't a real, even the one at lightweight wasn't a genuine, you know, lineal title or anything, because he didn't unify the division, he didn't even unify 2 titles, he didn't really stay there long enough to fight the best. So yeah, so in terms of skill and all of that, he's not that relevant, but he's still a name and people want to see him fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like Adrien Broner personally. He makes me laugh. I'm probably laughing at him, but it's still, I'm laughing, I guess. But, you know, he brings a lot of money in, I guess. You know, he brings exposure to other fighters, and that's the good things about him. Obviously, bad things is he's not fulfilling his potential, and you've really got to wonder about him and how much potential he's got left. You know, which he doesn't piss away, basically, like Ricky Hatton did. You know what I mean? Similar to that. We'll move on. Back to Rory. Do you reckon Adrien Broner will win his 4th weight world title? Rory?
Yeah.
Do you think he'll win his 4th weight world title?
That's like, well, personally, I don't think. It depends if Danny Garcia vacates, I think, and it depends what sort of can they wheel in for him to try and win a title at. But some of the names that we mentioned so far, like the likes of Provodnikov, you know, Garcia himself, I don't think he beats those guys. I really don't. I think I could probably name perhaps 4 or 5, you know, like welterweights that probably outdoes Broner, but they obviously won't go against one of those guys. They'll wheel in an opponent that is obviously in the top 10, but that they know play, and they will just lead to Broner getting another world title.
Yeah, maybe good points. Paul, what do you reckon? Do you reckon he'll win his 4th weight world title?
He'll win a belt, definitely. When Garcia just vacates and moves up, which seems like it's going to happen before long, Golden Boy will just get Golden Boy have got control of those titles. They'll let Matisse fight for one. They'll let Broner fight for one, and they'll probably just cherry pick some crap opponents for them to win them against. Especially in the case with Broner, he's going to fight someone who we probably never even heard of, like he did with was that super featherweight where he won his first world title. Fought against a guy who no one had ever heard of. No one's ever heard of him since. Won it easily, and it was just a paper title, completely. It'll just be a case of that again. I think he'll get a belt, but he'll never be the man in the division. He'll never be a pay-per-view star, and he'll never be a guy who people fear. I really don't think so.
Okay, Ryan, what are your thoughts? Do you think he'll win his 4th weight world title?
No. Well, if he'll need to win it at either light welterweight or light middleweight, because they're the ones that you know, surround the divisions that he has won world titles in inverted commas in. I think he can win a trinket for sure, probably at light welterweight, but you know, it depends on what you consider to be a world title, because if he wins some, you know, WBA ordinary bullshit title, then I won't consider it to be I mean, personally, I only consider him to be a 1 weight champ anyway, at lightweight. So, you know, I think he can win something at light welterweight, but he'll struggle to win anything at light middleweight, I think, because he's just not that good. He really just is not that good. And if he's not that good at all the way up to welterweight, then what's he going to do at light middleweight, which is when fighters start getting that little bit bigger. After welterweight, you then get that next division of middleweight, you know, light middleweight, middleweight, and super middleweight, where the fighters tend to be that little bit bigger. And then after that, after super middleweight, you've got light heavyweight, where fighters get even a bit bigger again. So it would have to be at light welterweight. And yeah, I think he will win some sort of trinket, but he won't win anything genuine.
Yeah, I agree. I can probably agree with that. Conman, what do you reckon? Do you reckon he'll win his 4th weight world title?
Well, I suppose it depends how pissed to get with him. You know, it depends how pissed Golden Boy are with him. You know, he's got a bit of a bad attitude. I mean, there could be a potential fight with Matisse. You know, should Danny Garcia vacate and Matisse win his next fight, and obviously Broner must win this fight, but there could be a potential big fight there for him. But I don't particularly see it. I think he'll go the WBA route, you know, against some unheard of for the vacant WBA title. He's not going to be a genuine world title in my opinion, but he'll probably get, like Ryan said, a trinket.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to run through a few of the names in the division with you, and you can all just say win or lose, okay? We don't need to go into like a fucking essay about it. Let me just give us a second, just to get a few names there. We'll start with Rory.
Okay.
Rory, so starting with Danny Garcia. Win or lose?
I don't rate Garcia either, but lose.
Paul, what do you reckon?
Danny Garcia wins. He beats Adrien Broner for me.
Okay. Ryan?
Loses.
Who loses?
Broner.
Broner. So just say from now on, because we've got a bit of a mix up there, from now on just say Broner, win or lose, okay? So, Conman?
Broner loses.
Okay, Rory, Matisse?
Broner loses.
Actually, I'll just go through them all with you now, Paddock, for a minute. Peterson?
Broner wins.
Jesse Vargas?
Broner wins.
Victor Postal?
Broner wins.
Chris Algieri?
Ooh. Broner probably wins.
Ruslan?
Broner loses.
Mauricio Herrera?
Broner probably wins.
And we'll just add in one more.
Oh, who was that one?
We'll add in Khabib Alakverdiev.
Broner wins.
Okay. We'll move on to Paul. Same guys to you. Danny Garcia?
Broner loses.
Matisse?
Broner loses badly.
Peterson?
I'm not sure because I don't rate Peterson or Broner, but I'd probably lean towards Peterson, honestly.
Vargas?
Probably Broner.
Victor Postal?
Broner probably wins, but it would be controversial.
Chris Algieri?
Chris Algieri.
Provodnikov?
Broner loses and he probably goes home in an ambulance.
Mauricio Herrera?
Broner loses.
Khabib Alakverdiev?
Broner probably wins.
Okay. Ryan, we'll start with you. Danny Garcia?
Broner loses.
Matisse?
Broner loses.
Peterson?
I'd say, just by going now, I'd say that Broner loses.
Okay. Jesse Vargas?
Broner wins.
Victor Postal?
Yeah, I agree with Paul. It'll be controversial, but Broner will win, but only on, the cards. I think it'll be dodgy.
Yeah. Chris Algieri?
That's a tricky one. Because he beat Provodnikov, but styles make fights. So I'd go Broner, but probably controversial.
Provodnikov.
Provodnikov kills him in the ring.
Oh God, Mauricio Herrera.
See, that's another difficult one, because Herrera will make it so difficult for him, like he did with Garcia. So again, I think it would be a robbery, but Broner wins.
Alec Verdiev.
And him, I don't know too much about, to be honest. And if he loses to Jesse Vargas, who I don't think is very good at all, then I'd go That would be the most legitimate of the Broner wins. But I don't rate Broner so much that I think he'd struggle in that fight as well.
Well, a lot of people think Alec Verdiev got robbed as well.
Yeah,
Vargas, yeah.
Well, exactly.
Conman, we'll start with you. Danny Garcia.
Garcia, no question.
Matisse.
Murder, Matisse.
Peterson.
Yeah, Broner should be winning that fight. Peterson's extremely overrated, so I'd definitely go with Broner in that.
Vargas.
Broner.
Postal.
Robbery, Broner.
Algeri.
I'd probably go with Broner. I don't rate Algeri.
Provodnikov.
You'd have a chance in that, Broner, because Provodnikov is pretty awful, so probably a rip-off for Broner.
Herrera.
Herrera's already easy to rob, but I'd go with Herrera in that.
Alec Verdiev.
I'd go with Alec Verdiev because I think he's got the style to beat Broner.
Can I just point out how brilliant I am at pronouncing Alec Verdiev? Yeah. Well, with me, I'd say Garcia would win. Matisse would win by decimation. Peterson would win. No, actually, I don't think that. I think Peterson would lose badly. I think Peterson would get knocked out. Chinny bastard. Jesse Vargas would lose. Postal would win. I actually think Postal would win. Algeri would lose. Provodnikov would win. Herrera would win. Alec Verdiev would win. That's me. But that's what we think. Next question for Raw Dog is... Right, in my opinion and the bookie's opinion, Broner should stop Emmanuel Taylor, right? If he fails to knock out Emmanuel Taylor, is it time to accept he is a grossly overrated fighter?
I think it's already safe to say that he's overrated.
I know he's overrated, but I mean grossly overrated, like, as in probably not even world level.
I think he's world level. Even if he didn't knock this guy out, but I think he's one of those whereby he's just not an elite fighter. When he was first, before he was undefeated. Before when he was undefeated. He was the next Floyd Mayweather, and they put him at such a high level now that he's showing his true colours, and let's be honest, he's not that bad a fighter, that everyone's always going to be negative towards him because he's not lived up to what everyone made him out to be. If he doesn't knock this guy out, it's going to be disappointing. I think it's safe to say that they expect him to knock him out. But no, he can come again. He's a young guy, he's got many years left in the sport. I think another thing as well is I don't think they know what his best weight is. I think that's another thing. I think he just naturally has a bit of a problem with knowing where he's best weight-wise at fighting. And I don't think the people who manage him really know 100% at this minute where to go or what to do with him to get him back to where he was. No, I wouldn't say he would be vastly overrated. I'd still say that he's still got a good, long, healthy career in boxing at a decent level, at a decent world level.
Okay. Paul, what about you? Do you think if he doesn't knock this guy out, people have to accept he's just vastly overrated fighter?
Yeah, to be perfectly honest. I already think he's overrated now. Very badly overrated, but if he can't even knock out this guy, then he's not a world level fighter at 140 at this weight division. Because he was definitely a world level fighter at lightweight, because he smashed up DeMarco, he smashed up Gavin Rees, and they were both top 10 guys. And he beat them as if it was, he looked like he beat them without breaking a sweat. But ever since he's moved up, which he should never have done, by the way, but he did, chasing money and chasing easy titles, ever since he's moved up, he's not looked the same at all. And he probably can't even go back down to lightweight now. If he could do that, that's what I'd tell him to do, but he probably can't, and be strong at the weight. And if he can't knock out this guy, who is very chinny, you look at his records on BoxRec, he's been down quite a lot of times in fights, then I really don't see how Broner's going to be competing against the elite of the division, because I really don't even rate Broner's power, to be perfectly honest, because couldn't knock out Paulie Malignaggi. Malignaggi then got absolutely smashed to bits by Sean Porter, who's not a puncher either. He couldn't knock out Carlos Molina, who was a lightweight, who got knocked out by Amir Khan, or stopped by Amir Khan, and Broner couldn't even put a dent in him. So I don't even expect Adrien Broner to knock this guy out, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I expect him to knock him out, but that's what I'm saying. Ryan, what do you say? If he doesn't knock him out, is it time for people to accept he's a vastly overrated fighter and they were all wrong about him?
Well, yeah, not necessarily knock him out, but just beat him convincingly, because he's never been stopped. But, you know, like Paul said, his opponents haven't been that great for the vast majority. So if, you know, it's one of those things where you don't win very well, you don't win very well, you don't win very well, and then you fight a guy like this who's sort of been brought in for you to look well, and if you don't look well again, then, you know, the question marks keep building up. So yeah, so if he doesn't beat him, you know, 12 rounds to 0 or by stoppage or whatever, then yeah, it's about time that those who are still thinking, yeah, he can still do something, it's time for them to, you know, think this guy isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, this would be in my opinion, this would be a total embarrassment if he didn't stop Taylor. I mean, look, you can say that Taylor's never been stopped, but he's been down twice in his last 3 fights against pretty much nobodies. It should be a straightforward beat down in favour of Broner. He should be stopping him, he should be hurting him multiple times. And like the other guys have said, he's already overrated. You know, he's probably one of the worst multi-weight world champions in history. You know, he's never cleaned out a division, never fought the guys he should have been fighting. You know, when he did disrespect, in my opinion, when you jump weights like he did, that's just disrespectful to boxing, to go straight into big fights. You know, and he had his arse handed to him after fighting Malignaggi. So, you know, this is a make or break fight in terms of, you know, can he rebuild himself to what he was like before Maidana, you know, that kind of hype. If he doesn't stop this guy, he loses a lot of respect from people who, you know, have tried to stay with him. He looked terrible in his last fight. He has to win by stoppage in this fight.
Yeah. I'm just going to start quickly with Rory. This is just another question quickly. Is Adrien Broner adding to the desolation of boxing history, but, you know, going through all these weight limits and winning world titles that, to be honest, he shouldn't really hold, because he's never been the number one in many of these divisions?
Yeah, I mean, it looks good on paper saying multi-weight when it, you know, it's I'm sure it's nice to be announced as, you know, how many weight divisions is it? 4 weight divisions he won titles?
He's three weights now. He's going for the 4th, isn't he?
Yeah, going for the 4th now. You know, I'm sure it's nice that when he's announced the ring as, you know, 3-weight world champion and all that, it comes with some prestige. But personally, if I was a fighter, I'd pride myself more on perhaps being a lineal champion or a Ring Magazine champion at that weight. You know, you've cleared it out, you've beat the best of the best at that division. Nothing more left to prove at that division. Then step up. Then go for another title. The fact that, you know, and I hope the record books sort of show this, that all the sort of weights that he's gone since after winning his first world title, kind of indicates that he's gone for the easy route in every single weight class. You know, when he won his 147 title, you know, he went for Paulie Malignaggi. He was by far the weakest champion at that weight. And other than what he achieved at lightweight, I think the rest is kind of a bit substandard, a bit, you know, it can be easily rubbished. And like I think what's been touched upon before, that when you look back through histories and look at the multiple weight world champions, he's by far one of the weakest ones.
Yeah, I would agree. Paul, what do you think? Is he making a mockery of boxing history? Or adding to it?
He's not got a record to be very proud of. To be honest, if you're a boxer or a sportsman or whatever, as Ronnie said, I pride myself more on wins on my record, to be perfectly honest, because it all okay, getting all these belts that he's got, that's all nice, to have photos with and to pose with and to let all these like strippers who he hangs around with, it's all good for them to pose with them. But at the end of the day, belts are only worth as much as the guy who took them off. And who has he won his belts off? He won his first world title against an absolute nobody. He won his second world title against DeMarco, which was fair play. That's a genuine world title win. And he won his third world title against Malignaggi, who was a bit of a paper champion anyway, and certainly wasn't the best in the division. And who's he going to win this fourth world title off if he gets it? I don't think it will be against anyone very good. So if they want to parade Adrien Broner around and call him the youngest freeweight world champion or four-weight world champion, whatever, then they can do it as much as they like. But at the end of the day, real boxing fans know what the score is. They know that he's not anything to look up to in terms of what he's achieved, because so far he's achieved pretty much nothing.
Yeah. Is Ryan there? We'll move to Conman. Conman?
Yeah, he's no better a multiweight champion than Ricky Burns was. I mean, Ricky Burns has probably got a better record than Adrien Broner, and so, you know, it is insulting to a boxing fan. It's insulting to boxing the way he's being handled anyway, in my opinion. You know, he goes straight from lightweight, you know, the WBC lightweight champion, straight up to welterweight, which is an absolute joke. I mean, fair play to Malignaggi, at least 40-minute close fight with Malignaggi, but, you know, we all know about Malignaggi. He's exposed at the highest level, so he's been kid-gloved all the way through his career, Adrien Broner. His best win is unquestionably against DeMarco, but, you know, it's just insulting. It's not good for people to look at this record in depth and try and respect him as a world champion. A multi-weight world champion makes it even worse. You know, this is why people wanted to watch him get his arse handed to him. This is why people were delighted when Maidana did what he did to him. So, yeah, I think he's already had what were coming round for him. It's now his chance to rebuild himself properly and, you know, try put his record right, try and make people respect him as a multi-weight world champion. You know, if he cleaned light welterweight division out, fine, you know, you can call him whatever you want then, but he needs to do it properly. In my opinion, he's been badly promoted. That'd be the crux of my argument. You know, you can say what you want about Broner being the Bertie Big Bollocks, you know, the I am this, the I am that. He's been badly promoted, badly handled, you know, and this is probably a last chance saloon for him. He's got to look good tonight, I beg your pardon, in his next fight, you know, to redeem himself, to redeem that terrible record.
I suppose. I think, you know, he's really making a mockery of the history of boxing. I mean, back in the day, there was one world champion. If Adrien Broner fought back then, he would have to fight the number one in every division. He couldn't fight his first world title as a vacant title, because there'd be a champion there, the number one, the lineal champion, the one man with the title. You'd have to fight him. Who's the guy with the belt? You want to fight the champion? You got to call him, not call Al Haim. That's the difference, you know. And this is what's going to happen for this fourth world title. I think he's going to fight for the vacant title. It's going to be called, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. And fair play to him. I'm not hating on Broner, you know, because he's just doing what he's doing. He's making his money, and he's going to be down in the history books. But it's a slap in the face of the people who've done it the hard way.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. We'll move on. Right, so, last question, guys. Rory, when's Broner going to win this fight?
round 4.
Paul, when's Broner going to win this fight?
Is it a 10 rounder or a 12 rounder?
I think it's a 10 rounder.
Well, I'm gonna pick for Broner to win a decision. I know this Taylor guy is very chinny, but I just don't believe in Broner's power at all at these higher weight classes. I know he was knocking people out at lightweight and super featherweight, but ever since he's moved up, he's just lost that power completely. Couldn't knock out Paulie Malignaggi, who was put into a coma by a non-punching Sean Porter. Couldn't put a dent in Carlos Molina, who was a tiny lightweight. I really don't think Broner is going to get the knockout here. I really don't. I think he'll win a decision.
Ryan, what do you think? When's Broner going to win this fight?
Yeah, I agree with Paul. I don't rate Broner at all. I don't believe in his power. I think the power he once had at lightweight, like the power which helped him to stop DeMarco and all that. At lightweight, I didn't think he was that bad of a fighter until, we've now seen all the chinks in his armour and all that. He's not very he's not very fast. Some people might call him fast, but he's not. His defence is poor. He gets hit far too much. He can't handle pressure. He doesn't let his hands go anywhere near enough. So anyway, I think that he goes the distance as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if his opponent wins a few rounds. So I think Broner wins, a fairly comfortable decision, but I bet the critics will, lay into him the next day.
Yeah. Carman, what are you saying, Paul?
Well, the knives have been sharpened already for Broner. I think he'll have been told in no uncertain terms, this is fly or die. He has to look impressive. He has to win by stoppage, otherwise he's getting thrown to the wolves. So I think Broner will look impressive, and I think he'll stop him early to mid.
Early to mid. Yeah, I think it'll go 6 rounds. I think he'll knock him out within 6 rounds. Taylor's, he was a good amateur. He's not brought it on as a professional. Maybe he's not even been match starred. You know what I mean? He's not even been match starred. He's just not fulfilled his potential. And this will be his biggest fight, but I just don't think he's got it. I think this is a perfect fight for Broner to look good, and Broner inside 6. Thanks, guys. We're not really hating on Broner. We all, we give him a fair shot at the cherry, but he's got to fight the right fights. And if he's going to be a 4th weight world champion, I want to see him fight everyone in the division and try and clean the division out. Don't be ducking no one. But, this is boxing in 2014, almost 2015. Al Heyman runs things. And we know in boxing nowadays that the good fights don't happen and you just get mismatches. You tell us what you think about this fight and what you think about Adrien Broner in general if you want. Thanks for listening.